When did everybody start getting a trophy? I don't understand that. In life, in sports, in everything, there are winners and losers. So how in the hell is everybody now getting a trophy? What's going on, guys? It's Zero bringing you another Call of Duty Ghost gameplay commentary. Today we're going to be talking about everybody gets a trophy, which I've wanted to talk about this for a while, but I've just kind of been a little bit too chicken shit to talk about it. But you know what? It's time to nut up. It's time to put on my big boy pants, and it's time to say what I wanted to say. Now, some of you guys might get offended at this. I really hope not. But if you do, then honestly, I think you're kind of part of the problem. Let me give you an example of why this bothers me. And, well, hold on. Before I even do that, some of you guys are going to say, you know what, Zero, you don't even have kids. So this topic, you shouldn't even be opening your mouth about it. You know what? You're right. I don't have kids. And if your kids were to live their entire life in a vacuum, then you're 100% right. It wouldn't bother me. But they don't live in a vacuum. They go on to live in the real world. And I'm in the real world. I have to deal with young adults who were raised like this as children, and I have to deal with the consequences of those decisions, that their parents made, and that society as a whole has made now. Perfect example. I was over at my brother's house last year, and he had his girlfriend had one of her friends over, and she was a younger girl. Younger, I say like 19, 20, somewhere around there. But just talking about how horrible she treated her boyfriend. About how she tells him to shut up all the time, how he knows that he'd better do what she says. And, after about 2 to 3 minutes of her chronicling her abuse of him, I just flat out asked her, I said, why the hell do you treat him that way? And her response was, well, because I'm me. He'll never get anybody better than me. I'm the only person out there like me. And I told her, I said, well, girl, I'm sorry to be the one that tells you this, because apparently you've never been told this before. But you are not a unique and beautiful snowflake. There are 3.5 billion other women in this world. You're not even in short supply. You're going to end up old and alone, because you'll find out in the real world, once you get around some guys that are a little bit more mature, nobody will put up with that shit. So if you don't change it now, then get ready for a lifetime of loneliness. And it looked like, the look on her face, I don't think that she could have looked any more shocked if I would have just walked up and punched her straight in the boob. It was the first time in her life that somebody had said, you know what, just you being you isn't good enough. And I think that kids need that lesson. I think that children have to learn how to deal with disappointment. If a kid never learns how to deal with disappointment, then what's he going to do when he enters the workforce? What's going to happen before that even? What's going to happen when he applies to college? Colleges have entrance requirements, and it doesn't matter how special mommy and daddy think you are. If you don't meet those entrance requirements, you don't get into that college. So, children need to be taught, they need to be taught how to deal with disappointment. I'll give you an example from myself, from my childhood. There was a rec league basketball team that I played on for 6 or 7 years. And then there was also another league basketball team that wasn't guaranteed participation. You had to try out for this team, and if you didn't make the team, then you didn't get a trophy. You didn't get anything other than a thanks for trying out. We'll give you another chance next year. For 6 or 7 years, I tried out for this team, and I didn't make it. And throughout my entire childhood and teenage years, I never made this team. And I knew that it was because I wasn't good enough. It wasn't because the coach had a vendetta against me, or, the world was out to get me. It was because I just wasn't good enough. After I outgrew the team, then I started taking basketball a little bit more seriously, and we actually ended up playing that team as part of my my boys club league, and we just destroyed them. Now, we played an exhibition game against them, and I think we beat them by 50-some points. It was a massacre. And I scored 40-some points in that game. So, a little bit of bragging there. I realize that. But, it wasn't... The moral of that story isn't, hey, man, I did really good against a team that I could never make. It was, you know what, I wasn't good enough, I wasn't good enough, I wasn't good enough. And then I got a little bit more serious about it. I put some effort into it. And then the results came. No, you can't teach your children that just by virtue of being them, good things are going to happen to them. Every child is unique. Every child is special. Well, if everybody's special, then nobody is special. That's just the way it is. If you don't teach your kids how to deal with disappointment, they're not going to make it in the real world. You know, they're not going to make it when, you know, they go up for a promotion at their job and they don't get it. You know, well, mom thinks I'm really special and dad tells me I'm perfect just the way I am. You know, put those on your resume and see how far it gets you. It's not. You have to teach your child how to deal with disappointment and how to work hard to recover from that disappointment. Otherwise, they're probably not going to be productive members of society. You know, a really, really personal example is I know somebody who has, you know, been in trouble with the law pretty much all of his adult life, but he's never really had to pay for it. You know, somebody else has always taken the blame, or he's always, you know, pulled some kind of miraculous get out of jail free card out of his butt somehow. You know, so he still to this day is doing all of the things that he's done his whole life because he's never had to, you know, he's never been taught that lesson. You know, that you're responsible for your actions, that just because you are who you are, it doesn't mean that the rules of society don't apply to you. So, you know, I hope that I'm not pissing too many people off with this. Like I said, I'm not a parent, and I'm not telling you how to raise your children. I just am, you know, just trying to put awareness out there that you're just doing your children a disservice if you don't teach them how to deal with disappointment. You know, some of you guys will agree with me, some of you guys will disagree with me. You know, I'm open to reasoned, mature discourse about this. You know, just leaving me a comment saying, well, you fucking idiot, you don't have kids, shut your fucking mouth, isn't going to help me, it's not going to help you. So if you'd like to actually discuss this, then feel free to leave a comment about it. You know, if you're just going to tell me that I'm wrong or that you're right, then you know what, that's not a discussion, that's useless to me and that's useless to you. So let me know in the comments, guys. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? And let me know why. You know, don't just say, yeah, Zero, you got it right, or, oh, you're a fucking idiot. You know, tell me why you feel that way. Well, until next time, this is Zero saying, I'll catch you on the flip side.